Hi friends, today I will show you how to install an SAP NetWeaver gateway on front-end server. Basically, on your front-end server, some components have to be available as part of your SAP NetWeaver gateway installation. So for example, if you run SAP NetWeaver 7.31 on your front-end server, so you have to install gateway underscore core, SAP IWFND, and IWPGW, IW underscore BEP as a couple of additional add-ons to be installed. If you run SAP NetWeaver 7.4 on your front-end server, like we don't need to install anything because the Gateway Foundation and SAP underscore UI add-ons will become by default. So only IW underscore PGW process gateways add-on is required for 7.4 version. So let's start with the installation of SAP NetWeaver Gateway. Prior to that, we need to make sure we have already downloaded NetWeaver Gateway software from Service Marketplace, the tool Software Provisioning Manager to install SAP NetWeaver Gateway, and kernel and installation export and the Sybase database. So as you can see, we have already downloaded the stuff, and all the media is ready and good to start with this installation. Let's open SWPM folder and scroll down and click on sapinc.exe file. So the software provisioning tool opens up and it gives you to start the installation. So as you can see, the tool has been opened. So from here we can select the right version. So let's expand SAP NetWeaver 7.4 support release 2. Our database is Sybase database, so SAP ASC. Expand preparations. Let's run prerequisites check now. So select first three checkboxes as it's in our ABAP server. So Sybase database by default. So just click on next and just click on next and give the path for the kernel where we have already downloaded. Point out the label.asc file. Click on OK. Click on next. You can see the summary. Just click on next here. So the prerequisite checks is running. Make sure your result code for all the results here says OK. The first condition doesn't meet because of some issue, so that is not related to our operating system, so we can ignore that and we can continue. Just click on OK. Now let's run again SWPM to start the standard installation. So we have met all the conditions, prerequisites to make sure our system is configured properly with the backend hardware infrastructure and stuff like that. So now let's run SWPM tool. Expand SAP NetWeaver 7.4 support release 2. Expand SAP ASC. Expand SAP systems. Expand application server ABAP. Standard system. So some environments you also have a distributed environment, so you can either choose either it is a distributed and standard. In our case it's just a sandbox installation, so I'm choosing standard system. can choose custom, click on next. Give your SID. In my case, I just gave FIO for Fiori Sandbox System. And if you have a domain name, you can set, otherwise you can just uncheck the box and click on next and mention the path for the kernel. Enter the master password, which you decide. So this master password will be for all your, CDDM, SA users and all that. So it will take for all your users which SAP creates. So it takes the same master password into consideration. So either you can choose local domain or domain of current user, but in real-time landscape it is always a domain of current user, but as it is just a sandbox, I have chosen local domain. So as you can see, the master password has taken by default, so you don't need to do anything, just click on next. Just click on next. Here it takes a database administrator password. So in this case it is a Sybase database, so SID is FIO, so it's like SYB FIO as a user. So you can ignore this prerequisite check. Just click on next. Give the path for the database. Now just navigate SAP NetWeaver 7.4 and point at the label.asc file. Click on OK and click on next here. And also give the path for installation export. So I'm ignoring as it is just a sandbox. So all these default values will be okay, because it takes for logs, temps and data devices for SAP. So just click on next tab here as well. So those are all default ports which has been mentioned, and these are all the default users, database users, and the password for all it is the master password. So physical memory it is required is just a 3.5 gig RAM. So in our case we have good enough RAM. Just click on next. So either you can enable declustering or depulling for all ABAP tables, or else you can also choose do not decluster or depull ABAP tables. For more information, it has been mentioned in 189.235 SAP Node. So you can check according to your requirements of your infrastructure landscape, SAP landscape. please refer to the note for more details. So the default parallel jobs is 3, so just click on next here as well. Either you can choose a different instance number or take the default as a granted. And here it is, the master password. If your SLD is already set up, then you can provide these entries. If not, you can just choose no SLD destination, and you can define it later as well. This secure storage key, individual key, is required, so it's always a best practice to make a copy of it and save it. Just click on OK. The paths were archives. Click on next. If you want to install diagnostic agent, you can. So please check all the summary. If there is anything needs to be changed, then you can change it by selecting its respective checkbox and provide the details accordingly. So right now for me, for just a sandbox server, which is a very small server, so seems like pretty much okay. So I'll just click on next to start the installation. So as you guys see, the database, the SAP NetWeaver Gateway installation has been started, and this will take a couple of hours. So the maximum number of hours it took for a simple installation is 3 to 4 hours of with very good configuration. So once all these 41 steps are done, so it will just prompt you with a message saying that the installation has been completed. So that is it. SAP NetWeaver 7.4 gateway is very simple, straightforward installation, very small installation, I would say. And once the installation has been completed, in our next session we will see what are the pro steps to be configured, and how it should be configured, and all those things. So thank you guys, thank you very much.